several unforeseen challenges, mostly self-caused. Having a partner that is actually interested in your success is refreshing. And it took a while for me to figure out, the how much work I needed to put in, and how much care and attention it needed from my side to, allow Beatrice to, do what she does best. So I think just be prepared that you have to try and you have to put your heart into it. That will allow Beatrice to do what she's amazing at. So that was the main struggle for me at the outset. But now that we've locked in and figured out our flow, we're doing well. A big win was not having to change who we are in order to make this project successful. I think I was really worried about coming in and having to, you know, tell a story about who we are that isn't really about who we are for the sake of getting better fodder for Instagram and Facebook. So I was really worried about our story wouldn't be good enough, or our history isn't interesting enough, or things like that, that we'd have to start coloring outside the lines. And I'm really, really happy that that's not your approach. And I think, that was really meaningful. The biggest win we had was after we had been talking for a while. I listened to a podcast about one of my customers, and all the things to that point that we had started talking about were things that he was talking about. But it was his version and his way of talking about himself that really opened the door for us to feel more comfortable about telling our story. And I think the framework that you provided for us really allowed us to get into the detail that's important. We have the confidence to ask for what we need earlier on in the process, and we're more comfortable getting into, more minute details with the customers. And we're taking what we've built here and teaching the team, this is what your role is, and this is what is important, and this is your value to your customers, and your value to the business is when we do it this way, the way that we've identified. We're starting to see what we're talking about come to life and fruition. That's really, really been important. We're still building out a new website, so I'm expecting a lot more wins to come. But internally, the things that we worked on for internal brand and posts and their pillars and all that kind of stuff has really helped giving us some framework for the staff and the team to know where they fit, and how they can create value. Great question. We had been down the road of, we're a legacy brick and mortar business. We've created an e-commerce environment. We know we need to market it. We try everything from paid SEO, paid Google, shopping ads, you name it. We tried it, and we weren't seeing really the results that we had expected. And so the thought process came up to look for a partner, that could help us firm up our brand and firm up our story and really polish up, our content and our look and our everything, right? And so we have a new rule around here where we don't do business with cold calls. We went down the road of trying to find, someone who was talking about this stuff in a different way, that didn't have, a giant glossy agency behind them that talks about the same shit that every other agency talks about, which is performance metrics, ROIs, KPIs, contracts, and other bullshit of the like. So I found you, I believe, on LinkedIn, and I can't remember how I came across one of your videos, but I was like, I really like, how you're talking, and I think you were talking about maybe Gymshark or something like that, and I thought it was a really unique understanding of their brand story, and I thought it might be worth reaching out. And that's sort of where we are now. I think I would say get ready to be pushed, and get ready to not really be pandered to. If you want someone that's just going to tell you everything you write is pure gold, and you're a superstar genius founder, you're not in the right neighborhood. I think if you really want someone that's going to genuinely care about the outcome and genuinely care about your business and your goals, then this is the person that you want to work with. I think ultimately, if you want to be told that you're a genius all the time and you want someone that doesn't really care, Beatrice is not the person for you. But if you want someone that actually wants to see your business grow and um, help you get in shape to do this properly, she's the right person. There's lots of agencies that'll blow smoke up your ass if that's what you're looking for. Well, I think if this was left up to me in my own devices, I would not have gotten it done. So, I think I would have hit the this is too hard button maybe a couple times. I didn't realize how much I would have to focus and how much I would have to dedicate, to sort of self and like inward looking, right, to make this a success. I think, without your help, I wouldn't have been able to do it myself, obviously. And I don't know if the way you handle it or the way you approach it is, the way anyone else is doing it. So I think you are very good at extracting the right information. And I think you're very good at maybe not always telling me what you're trying to get out of me, and I think that's really helpful because I don't think you create a framework that we have to fall within for every answer. I think you have the overall framework is very detailed and it's very organized and it's very succinct and it's very guided and it's very pointed as to what the end outcome is. But sometimes in the from point A to point B, there's some room to play, and I think that's where you kind of find the little nuggets that you build off of. So I think it's really smart, and I think it's really specific to the individual and the company that you're working with, and I think that's really important. Well, we have an approach now, which is really good. So that was a big change. The biggest change is identifying what what is authentic to our brand. Why are we successful? What are the intangibles, right? What are the three things or two things or one thing, and you really helped us sort of identify that. And now when we're looking at new things or when we're looking at new ideas or we're looking at, different ways to grow or whatever, we're now able to firmly know what, fits in with our values and fits in with our brand versus, kind of chasing our tail or chasing the next biggest thing. I think that's really been important. How do we stay authentic to who we are? I think is really what we've been able to glean from this. Part of it was just how simple the questions were and how simple some of the expectations were. We get caught in this trap where we think everything has to be polished and everything has to be on trend or whatever. When you're asking pointed and direct and simple questions about who we are and what we want and what we want our customers to want and how we want them to feel. I think that's what I was most surprised about. It's a very genuine look at who we are, where we've been, and where we want to go versus we should be focusing on XYZ trend on social media and you need to dump a bucket of water on your head to fit in or something stupid like that. I think, it was really refreshing to take a look back, especially having you to guide us and just, poking and prodding and being like, you're not trying hard enough on this. You need, or you're not, this is not what I'm looking. That was surprising to me because I honestly didn't know what we were getting into when we first started talking. I have a new rule though that we don't do any business with cold calls anymore because we've been burned too many times. So anytime we want to take something on, we're going to do our research first and we're going to find out who we want to work with before. And I think that's a better approach for us, at least. I was really pleasantly surprised with how succinct your side of it was. Like, you obviously have a plan and you know sort of what levers to pull and when. And I was surprised with how much work that you do on the back end, in your own time to help us sort of polish and smooth out. I found that really refreshing where it wasn't just we've hired you to help us and I have to do all the work. Because a lot of times I feel like that happens and it's not a great relationship. It's not really a great partnership. I was really pleasantly surprised with that.